According to Reuters news agency, Qatar says it's currently in touch with the Israelis and Hamas to try and keep this truce afloat. Now, let's turn once again to Mark Regev in Tel Aviv. He is a senior advisor to the Israeli Prime Minister and a former Israeli ambassador to the United Kingdom. Mr. Regev, very good to have you back on the show.
Good to be back with you, Natasha.
Mr. Regev, I hope you can offer us some clarity that is filled with confusion. Do you believe that any hostages and prisoners are going to get exchanged today?
So we're ready to accept them, of course. We want them out. But the ball is in Hamas's court. That's very clear. Now, as you know, we agreed to a 4-day humanitarian pause during which Hamas was supposed to release 50 hostages, Israeli hostages, in 4 different releases, each release about a dozen. The first one was yesterday. The second one is supposed to be today. And Hamas knows that we agreed to this humanitarian pause only on the condition that they would be releasing hostages. And if they fail to do so, obviously, that has ramifications.
What do you mean? What ramifications?
Well, once again, we agreed to this humanitarian pause in the fighting precisely to get our hostages out. That was the Israeli condition going back weeks. Hamas finally agreed, and you can ask me why they agreed now and not before. Well, that's a different issue that we can address. But we agreed to this humanitarian pause because we wanted to get our hostages out. If that is not the case, then that has, of course, ramifications on the whole pause.
Does ramifications in this instance mean we're going back into full-scale war, sir? So
I would say the following. Yesterday, and I'm sure you covered this closely on CBC too, yesterday there was also a delay. So I don't want to put the cart before the horse. Let's see what happens. But once again, we agreed to this pause to get our hostages out. That was the only reason we agreed to this pause.
Now, I hear what you're saying. Hamas's spokesperson in Beirut, Osama Hamdan, has just held a press conference there, and he says that Israel did not fulfill its part of the truce agreement, which is why they're saying they're going to delay it. They say not enough aid trucks are getting in, and not enough aid is getting to the north. How do you respond to that?
So from Israel's perspective, the aid should be coming in. From our point of view, this is an opportunity for trucks to come in and to reach all parts of the Gaza Strip. So, quite frankly, I'm not sure what he's talking about. I know that since the ceasefire came in, there's been an increase in the level of aid going into Gaza. Israel supports that. We don't see the civilian population of Gaza as our enemy. And this pause was designed to get our people out. And that, for us, is obviously the priority, but also to provide a situation where food and medicine and water and fuel could go into the Gaza Strip for the benefit of the people of Gaza.
What is happening in terms of negotiations to get this truce up and running again and get the hostages some freedom again?
So, Hamas says a lot of things, yes, but ultimately, as President Biden said yesterday, they will respond to pressure. And from our point of view, the only important thing, this whole truce, this whole humanitarian ceasefire is based on the release of our hostages. Those hostages have to be released in accordance with the understandings reached. If they're not, then, as I say, everything is predicated on that release.
Mr. Regev, I completely hear what you're saying, sir. Forgive me. I'm trying to clarify what's happening to make sure that the hostages are released. Are there conversations taking place right now between the Israeli government and Qatar and the United States and Hamas representatives? Is there movement on this front at all?
Well, it's like saying, am I 70% pregnant? No, you're either pregnant or you're not. Hamas has to release the hostages. That's their commitment. They have to honor that commitment. And there are ramifications, as I said, if they don't release our hostages.
Okay, so let's play this out, Mr. Regev. Let's say Hamas says, no, we're not going to release hostages because Israel is not sending in the trucks. So what happens the next day?
Israel doesn't, no, but frankly, that's ridiculous. Israel is not sending in the trucks. The trucks are coming from the UN and other humanitarian organizations.
They want the trucks to go in through northern Gaza. I'm so sorry to interrupt you, just so that I'm as clear as possible and we get an accurate sense of, everyone wants to know what happens next, because there were these 4 days where we thought, okay, some peace. some medical supplies, some food and water, and most importantly, families get to see their loved ones who've been held hostage for going on 50 days now. That was a critical thing on the Israeli point. So if that goal is still paramount for Israel, which it clearly seems that it is, what's being done now by Israel to make sure that this continues? I hear you that Hamas has to let them go. What's being done to ensure that it happens?
So once again, it's not an Israeli decision. It's Hamas's decision. And you should be asking them, I don't know if you do interview Hamas people, but you should be asking them, do they understand the significance of not releasing the hostages? I'm sure they do. Now, once again, there are different theories about why this is happening. You know, does Hamas like to play hardball the whole time? Is it a form of psychological warfare? Do they want to torture the poor families of the people who are supposed to be released, make them suffer until the very last? I don't know. Yeah. But the bottom line is this. Those hostages, according to the arrangements that were negotiated, they must be released.
Can I ask you about the feelings right now in Jerusalem, in Tel Aviv, throughout Israel, where countless people, whether they were related to any of the hostages or not, were hoping for another set of very emotional and joyful reunions? What's happening? Because clearly they're not seeing that today.
So first of all, as I said a moment ago, yesterday there was also, it came later than it was supposed to. So let's see how tonight plays out. And we're following it, of course, closely, but you're 100% correct. Yesterday was a bittersweet day. It was sweet because, I mean, we saw those wonderful pictures of families being reunited and loved ones coming out of Gaza. But bitter because, unfortunately, too many people remain behind, yes? And let's say there are 32 children we think that Hamas has. Only 4 were released yesterday. That's 28 children that Hamas is holding. The youngest is, as you know, is a 10-month-old boy. He was kidnapped when he was merely 9 months. He was kidnapped and became Hamas's hostage before he could talk or walk. I mean, surely that shows us the sort of people we're dealing with and why we have to, in many ways, expect these sort of constant problems. Yes, we have to be patient. We have to have a will of steel, and we have to stand by what we said. And what we said is the humanitarian pause is based on the release of hostages. That's the foundation of the humanitarian pause. And if hostages are not released, that endangers, it brings into question the pause. That's clear.
Mark Regev, always good to have you on the show, sir. Thank you for making time for us today.
My pleasure.